Shaquille's or Shaquiles, as my wife put it. She's not a huge sports fan. Shaq's beloved by Laker Nation. Rings do that, so the restaurant a block from where the Lakers play makes sense. Now, James Harden opening a restaurant in Houston. That's a tougher one to swallow. The steakhouse is named 13, Harden's number with the Rockets. Except now he's wearing 13 for the Nets. 13, the Chop House, is scheduled to open this month. It's getting reviews already, and one comment reads, doesn't quite have that championship taste. Will 13 deliver?
After the bubble, after that loss, just wanted to reevaluate my career and the team and the direction that the organization was going. And, you know, as time went on and free agency and things like that started to go on, it was like, well, I felt like we didn't have a chance, you know. And so I think at the point in my career, it's not about money. It's not about anything else but having a chance at reaching the ultimate goal. It's to winning at the highest level.
From your post-game comments after the Lakers lost to what your teammates were saying about you as far as being disrespectful, it got pretty ugly at the end of your tenure in Houston. Is there any part of you that regrets the way that it ended?
I wasn't disrespectful to anyone. Those guys had just got there, Houston. I've been there for a very long time. I've been through all the ups and downs, with that organization. And I wasn't disrespectful towards anyone. You know, I just made a comment. So there were some things I felt like out of my character, but the ultimate goal was to get somewhere, where I can compete. And here I am in Brooklyn. You know, I have nothing but love and respect for that organization, that city, and everything that they've done for me and my family. And it's not a guarantee that me coming to Brooklyn is, guaranteeing a title. But I think for me, giving myself a chance is very, very important. And I mean, you just look at this entire roster and it's built for any style of basketball you want. And then the coaching staff who, knows the game of basketball at a high level. You just add that all together, and it's like that's a legit chance right there. It was a no-brainer for me.
All right, so after all, we couldn't let Paul go without talking about this. Okay, so now you got James Harden added to a team with Kyrie Irving, we think, and Kevin Durant, all ball-dominant players.
Yeah.
Let's talk about on the court first. How's this going to work?
Well, it's going to have to be some type of sacrifice. Who's going to be able to not have the ball in their hands when they're used to having it in their hands most of the time? And if these players are true to themselves and they say to each other, we want to win a championship, then you're going to have to take the sacrifice, which means we're not going to see all these isolation plays that we're used to seeing from James Harden in Houston. We're not going to see Kyrie dribble the ball 24 seconds until he can get a shot. This is Durant's team. And everything has to go through Durant. And if they can understand that, this team has a great chance. But listen, who doesn't want this trio on the court? Because they have all the ingredients. And one of the main ingredients to win a championship is you have to have a top 5 player. If you look at it every year.
Yeah.
And they have 2 of them.
Okay, so you say it's Durant's team, okay?
That's Durant's team.
On the floor, okay? So now we get to the locker room. And these are some complex personalities that we have here, all 3 of them. How does that work? Well, you said Steve Nash has the toughest job in North American pro sports?
Steve Nash has the toughest coaching job in sports because not only does he have to probably redesign his offense, he has to manage egos. He has to make sure everybody's happy. And now the pressure's on. Yeah. It's championship or bust in Brooklyn.
And it's his first year.
Hey,
as a coach.
It's his first year. And so that's why I feel like he has the toughest job because you got a guy with no coaching experience, coaching 2 of the top 5 players in the league. Kyrie is arguably top 10. And so there's a lot of pressure there in Brooklyn to win a championship.
If you had to guess right now, I put you on the spot, how far do they go?
I believe this team can get to the finals. There's no excuse. You got Durant. Wherever Durant goes, you have finals. You have finals on your mind. And then you add Harden. And you have Kyrie. This team can go to the finals.
All right. If they can keep it together.
If they can keep it together, they can sacrifice.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right now.
We begin today's show with, of course, James Harden. Just made his first public appearance as a member of the Nets, spoke to reporters virtually in the last few minutes, addressed a lot of the lingering questions surrounding his departure from Houston and his future in Brooklyn. Take a listen.
What does it represent? What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. Just coming for 8 years in Houston, and then having a fresh start with some unbelievable talent, and obviously the coaching staff, the front office, from top to bottom. The welcome has been amazing. So it's a fresh start for me to go out there and ultimately have a chance to compete at a title.
Bruce Beck, NBC New York.
Hey, James, what's your message to Nets fans on what kind of player and what kind of teammate they're getting?
An elite player, an elite teammate, an elite leader, and just a guy that's willing to do whatever it takes to rack up as many wins as we can. Sacrifice.
Brian Lewis, New York Post.
Hey, James. Welcome. Following up on that, I mean, you've proven yourself to be an elite player, and KD's an elite player, Kyrie's an elite player. All you guys have had the ball in your hands and been asked to make big shots. I'm curious how the three of you make sure that you guys come together and keep the main thing, and find a way to gel for the greater good.
Chemistry, sacrifice, and like you said, we're all elite, so depending on the game, depending on, what's going on throughout the course of the game, that's going to determine who gets the ball and who makes the plays. We're all unselfish, we're all willing passers, and we play basketball the right way, and that's all that matters.
Otis Livingston, CBS New York.
Hey, James, welcome to Brooklyn. From your post-game comments after the Lakers lost to what your teammates were saying about you as far as being disrespectful, and also you being held out of practice until a trade was made, it got pretty ugly at the end of your tenure in Houston. Is there any part of you that regrets the way that it ended? But do you regret the way it ended, though? I mean, it's a place that you loved and you had so many highlights.
Yeah, I regret because I'm not the type of guy to, I don't need the attention, especially the negative energy, the negative attention. Like, I've never been that guy. So there were some things I felt like out of my character, but the ultimate goal was to get somewhere, where I can compete. And here I am in Brooklyn. I have nothing but love and respect for that organization, that city, and everything that they've done for me and my family. Much respect.
Hey, James. First and foremost, welcome to Brooklyn.
Thank you.
I guess you would know better than any of us in this room that, winning a championship is not easy, right? There's 30 teams, of those 30, maybe 5 or 6 have real chances to win it. You've been part of those 5 or 6 for God knows how long since you've been in Houston. You've had multiple runs deep. You've had it with different players from Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Melo, Dwight. I'm just curious as to what gives you the confidence that this time around will be different and that this group can get it done.
Obviously you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on the team. And then surrounded by those guys, you have really good pieces in DeAndre, Jeff, shooters, and Joe, Landry. You just look at this entire roster and it's built for any style of basketball you want. And then the coaching staff who, knows the game of basketball at a high level. You just add that all together and it's like, that's a legit chance right there. It was a no-brainer for me.
Rachel Nichols, ESPN.
Hey, James. Obviously, so many great players go without winning a title. There's guys in the Hall of Fame without winning a title. But how about you? How do you see your career in terms of how important it is to actually win that title, to complete what you want to do in basketball?
It's not a guarantee to me coming to Brooklyn is, guaranteeing a title, Rachel. But I think for me, giving myself a chance is very, very important. At younger, giving myself a chance, but wanting to get paid and wanting to take care of my family was very, very important to me. Now, the stage of my career is giving myself a chance to do something that I haven't accomplished yet in this league, and that's very important to me now, and that's the situation that I'm in, and that's why I'm here in Brooklyn. I'm excited for the new opportunity. Obviously, we know it's not easy. It's not going to be easy at all, but with this roster and this coaching staff and this organization, I think we have a legit chance.
I know you're obviously still getting acclimated to this team, but when you look at yourself and you look at the pieces, what parts of your game do you envision, staying the same for this to work, and what parts do you envision changing for this to work with this team?
Very good question. I think for me, my playmaking ability, we have 2 elite scorers that the world knows already. My job is to come out here, obviously score the basketball when needed, but my playmaking ability, whereas getting our shooter shots, getting our bigs, finishes around the rim, and making the entire team better. I think that's one aspect of my game that will excel in this offense. And as long as I'm making my teammates better, it doesn't matter about the points. Like, I think everybody knows that I can score the ball at a high clip, and that's where the sacrifice comes in at.